Good morning. My name is Janana Snowden. I'm the Executive Director for the Southern Institute for Medicinal Plants. And I actually have the charge of presenting to you on the cannabis research initiatives here at the Southern University Ag Center. And what I would like to say is what makes us unique at the Southern University Ag Center is the fact that we were written into legislation as it relates to the medical marijuana and the hemp program. So we are unique in this space. Now, one of the things that that I will say, you will receive some information that you heard on yesterday. I'll briefly touch on those, but also, hold for 1 second. Let me turn this off. Okay, but what you'll see is that some of the information is the same as on yesterday, and also some of the information that was presented on this morning. And oh, 1 second, trying to get back to where I was. Okay, there we go. Now, I'll start with the beginning. And as it was mentioned by Attorney Urban on yesterday, this has been a lengthy process, and it's not something that just takes place overnight. I know a lot of people, once it was approved, everyone was like, okay, well, where's the medicine? What's going on with the program? But what you have to realize is that this is it was a lengthy process. We started off with 3 conditions in the beginning, and you will see that these 3 conditions covered, different areas, but we changed the laws. We went from prescribing the medicine to recommending the medicine and increasing prescriptions as legislation moved about. And now we are at a place where, although we started with 3 qualifying conditions, we are now where we're in a space where any physician can recommend medical marijuana to any patient in the state of Louisiana for any condition. So that's a great place for us to be, in relation to that. And, I talk about the process, and basically saying that it was a lengthy process, that's an understatement, to be honest with you, because we had to go through a request for applications process because of federal restrictions. And this is because we are a public institution, and we do receive federal funding here at the Southern University Ag Center and at the Southern University system. So in order for us not to do anything to jeopardize our funding from our federal funding, we did this request for applications. And in the process, we received 7 applicants. Now, we received these seven applicants, but with this application process, you had to formulate a committee who were able to cover, every aspect of, the grow operation, because they wanted us to do from seed to sale. So we had to get experts in various areas to actually come in and evaluate these applications. Some of these applications were 2,000 plus pages, just for one application. So, that took time within itself, excuse me. Following this application process, we did enter into a partnership with Advanced Biomedics, who is doing business as Ilera Holistic Healthcare. And this has been a great partnership. I will say we had some hiccups in the beginning, some things to learn from, in the beginning, but we have a great partnership with Ilera Holistic Healthcare, and we have been progressing, in this space since we've entered into the partnership. So through this partnership, we signed a contract where the university actually receives a guarantee of $1 million per year, as a requirement or of this partnership or this contract with Ilera Holistic Healthcare. And that was making sure that we stayed true to self, for one, because we know that this is an industry, although it will grow. We also know that this was an industry, just as any other business, would take time to get off the ground, especially with all the legwork that it does take. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to receive revenue and also provide resources to our students, although they would not work with the drug or anything or be around it or anything like that. But we wanted to make sure that we were able to provide, scholarships if needed, or assistantships to students who needed financial assistance. Now, once this partnership was established, we had to go through a suitability process. And again, our regulatory agency, Ag and Forestry, touched on this. But through this suitability process, it took us about 6 months, upwards of 6 months, to go through the suitability process, because we had to make sure that every individual who was listed on that contract or a part of Advanced Biomedics who had over 5% ownership in the company, they had to go through this extensive federal background check just to make sure that they weren't a person who was operating illegally in some other market and using this as a mechanism to, launder money or clean money and things like that. So, it was a lengthy process, as stated before, going through suitability. Once we finished suitability, we had to go through construction. So you can see this is a process that it took time, so for those who were wondering, okay, well, what took them so long to get started? Well, if you look at the logistics of everything that took place, this is why we did. So with construction, and with any construction, you just can't go and say, I'm about to build. So you have to go out, do your surveys, you have to present your plans, and not only present the plans, but those plans have to be approved before you can even start. And Tabitha did touch on that, and she showed what the blueprints look like as we move forward in this market. Everything had to be in place from the watering systems, onwards. But after that, we go through SOP development, and all of our SOPs are standard operating procedures, basically just telling them what we plan to do, how we plan to make the medicine, how the plan is going to move from one room to the next. We had to have it in place step by step and tell them every step of the way. No in-betweens. You couldn't leave out a part. You have to let them know exactly what is taking place. Down to the fact, this individual will walk the product to this particular room, so they had to be straightforward. So once we got the SOPs development, and we are constantly developing SOPs as we produce new products, but, once a SOP is approved, you're approved to move forward with your product. And to date, I will say that we have 15 products on the market. And that's our medical marijuana products. And they range from tinctures, topicals, and metered dose inhalers at this time. You will see that right now we don't have medibles, but they will be coming soon. So we're looking to bring those to the market very soon. We're actually going through the stage of approval for the SOPs at this time. And we've submitted those, and we're waiting on review. And I will say that our reviews from the regulatory agency, even with limited resources, they have been providing our SOPs or our approvals back to us in a timely fashion to allow us to get started, so that we don't miss out on any time that would be needed to get these products to the market. Because at the end of the day, our goal is to provide quality products to the patients in the state of Louisiana. And here is just a depiction of what our products look like on the shelf. So this is what the packaging does look like. The metered dose inhaler, which is in the center, that is what our product does look like. It is a sleek, slimline metered dose inhaler with a cartridge that sits to the left of it. And as of right now, we have 4 different cartridges for those for various ailments, and they range from PTSD and anxiety, to insomnia. So, there are a range of products that we have, and we also have the topicals, which you see in the middle next to it. And our gelatin-based chewables, or medibles, as we call them, will be introduced soon once again. And we do have CBD products, and we've developed 5 CBD products, but you may see like 1 or 2 on the shelves in the pharmacies because those are, ordered as the pharmacy needs them. So, they choose what products they want, and it depends on what those sales have been looking like. So we do have some CBD products which contain less than 0.3% THC for those individuals who, just don't want the THC in their system. And, I'm pleased to announce that we do have our products in all 9 of the pharmacies around the state. And those pharmacies are H&W Drugstore in New Orleans, Louisiana. We have Capital Wellness Solutions here in Baton Rouge, Greenleaf Dispensary in Houma. We have Hope Pharmacy in Shreveport, Willow Pharmacy in Madisonville, Delta MedCar in West Monroe, the Apothecary Shop in Lafayette, Medicis in Lake Charles, and the Medicine Cabinet Pharmacy in Alexandria, Louisiana. And on this next slide, I do show the different regions and what they are broken down into, and what you'll notice here with these regions is that some of these patients who really need access to these medicines, have to travel a great distance to get to a location where a pharmacy is located. And I know that they've been visiting, rules, or trying to see, where we should, or, the introduction, or having talks about the introduction of putting more pharmacies, and especially the 10th that was in legislation, but putting more pharmacies in different areas so that patients who really need this medicine will be able to have access to it. Again, what makes us distinct is the fact that we were written into legislation. So it does put us at a great space here, even in the hemp market. So I've talked about medical marijuana and what our role is, in the medical marijuana, the research that goes on. So basically the research in medical marijuana is to work on formulations to get products to the market. And we've been doing very well in that space, and looking forward to excelling, in that space as well. But, as we've discussed and you've seen in other presentations, hemp is considered to be, less than 0.3% THC, and anything greater is considered to be marijuana. So being that we were written into legislation to actually be a part of the research program, we had to take a look back, because what happened was there was a 2018 Farm Bill which allowed this, and what it did was remove hemp from the Controlled Substance Act, and it was now considered to be an agricultural product. And the great thing about this is that it allowed states and Native American tribes to basically apply and present a plan to USDA as to how they would, operate in this space. And with these plans, they had to make sure that they included the tracking for land use, also make sure that they had measures in place for testing and making sure that we were below that 0.3%, for the testing. And if you were not below that 3%, if your plant was to go hot, that you would have to have a plan in place to get rid of that product or those plants if it did. And again, 0.3% THC, less than is what they're looking for in the hemp. And a great thing about this is the fact that it would allow for additional revenue stream for the state, but also it would provide opportunities for stakeholders within the state, and that was that would be your large and small scale farmers and individuals who just wanted to get into this space. So those states who did not have a plan in place and were not approved for plans, they would have to abide by the national USDA rules as it pertains to the hemp. So the Louisiana Hemp Law, it was approved in December of 2019. And again, it allowed for the growing, transportation, and production of industrial hemp. The present law authorizes LSU and Southern University to cultivate, handle, and process industrial hemp and industrial hemp seeds for research and development of new varieties. And this right here is exactly what the law says as it relates to medical marijuana. As it relates to hemp, industrial hemp research in the state. So us being the SU Ag Center and knowing that there are many uses for this hemp plant, we knew that this was a space that we really wanted to be in because, as you all heard, we always hear there are over 2,000 plus uses for the hemp plant, and it ranged from biofuels to, essential oils to body care and animal foods. And animal foods really, that was really, I guess, intriguing to me because when I first found out that a group was actually making dog treats with hemp products and the hemp plant, I was very intrigued by that, and it made me want to look into it further. But that was one of the things. And also when I started hearing about hempcrete and that they were using this as a form of construction material. So, it just shows that there are many uses for it outside of, just the fiber that you talk about and also the medicines that you talk about all the time. And being that we are the Southern University Ag Center and our mission is linking citizens of Louisiana with opportunities for success, we knew that we had to jump right on in and begin our research endeavors. So a few of the areas that we are looking into right now is varietal trials, growth conditions, pest management, weed control, and we look at different types of grows, and that includes indoor, outdoor, and also we look at greenhouse systems as well. And as mentioned before, our team did jump right on it. After this legislation was passed, we started, obtaining seeds and made sure that our seeds were from a reputable source and that they had, we actually took them to Ag and Forestry, had them to review our data sheets and everything just to make sure that we were compliant with what the law was saying and what we needed to do as a research institution. So for the varietal trials, and this is an image that's from a farm in Pennsylvania, but I wanted to show like the differences that you could see in varietal trials. And basically, it's just to grow different crops alongside each other, just to see like growth patterns and also, just to obtain information about different characteristics about these this plant. And this includes like the yield, the time it takes to get to maturity, and different quality traits such that some may have broad leaves, some may have grow taller than others. So we wanted to just start looking at those type of things. And although we have at this moment for our grow here at our research unit, we don't have plants this tall just yet or at this age just yet. We are in the beginning stages of getting plants off the ground and conducting these trials. And currently we are investigating 6 different varieties. Now, one of the things to notice, like it does take, excuse me, approximately 60 days to get a plant to full maturity, and it does depend on the type of plants, the seeds that you utilize, and it could be shorter or longer depending on such, and also the growth conditions of your plant, whether you are indoor, outdoor, in the greenhouse, your soil types have, and also your temperature. It can cause variations. And that's why it is vital to, know what you're going into before you actually enter into this space. And I'll say this at this point because, a lot of people do think that you just jump right into this and you just say that, oh, I want to be a hemp grower and I'm going to start growing hemp. But there's much more to growing hemp than just going out and dropping seeds. We've learned through our research that, and I'll show you later on with some of the things that we have encountered here at the Ag Center, but throughout this life cycle, there are multiple things that can take place, and that's why it's very important that you do monitor your plants, and that's at the early stages as well. Excuse me. You want to make sure that you're keeping a close eye up on these plants because, even at germination stage, if and I've seen things even with maggots in germination and things like that. So, you just want to make sure that you keep a close eye on your seeds and also the plants as they start to mature. And I tell people all the time, what you want to do is treat it as if it's truly an infant. So you want to give it that nurture and that care early on in the process and throughout as well. Here I show a photo of Dr. LaShonda Hodges to the left and Dr. Crystal Vance to the right. And this is just to show they were actually transplanting. So they had germinated the seeds, and she had two methods that she was testing for, and she had put the seedlings in a tray, and also she used these grow bags, which are biodegradable and can be placed directly into the soil. But she was just testing different methods as far as direct spray, soaking, direct spray and soaking, just to see which one was best when dealing with transplanting, and also the shock that could be associated from moving from one location to the next. And so she had to, they've been doing those trials, and they are still in the process of doing some varietal trials, but she did see some low incidences of transplant shock with both of them. So those plants did well when she did move them to other locations, and whether that was to the field or to larger pots. I mentioned that we are working, testing indoor, outdoor, and greenhouse. So we have a partnership with the Black Farmers Hemp Group out of Lafayette, Louisiana, and they have the indoor operation. And this is a great partnership because it allows us to see how the plants perform under certain lighting conditions, and also because of automated systems, we're able to provide them with the nutrients, just program the times and program times that we want nutrients to hit them, the water to hit them, and also lighting. We can give them the appropriate lighting without the manual, care. But although you still need a body there to monitor these plants, it is good to have automated systems, to control temperature and things of that nature, even when you're away from the plants or the facility. And in the upper right corner, I just show a photo of the hemp research team. We did a visit to one of the locations because the Black Farmers Hemp Group does have two separate locations. They have not expanded into the second one just yet, but right now in the first one, they are doing well with that one. So we went on a trip to visit and work with some plants that day. And also we have a picture to the left, and that's actually the the Black Farmers Hemp Group. That's the owners right there. And what their mission is reconstituting the Black farmland and empowering small farmers by utilizing hemp as a cash crop. So they have been beneficial to our studies, having them as a partner because we are able to obtain information, like I just mentioned, the differences in lighting conditions and also moisture content, the nutrients that are given to the plants and water. All of that makes a difference when we're trying to conduct research and see what's best in producing a quality plant that could be used for, whether it's used for fiber or medicine. Here I show a photo of, this is a grow tent that they had just popped some seeds in. So they have the lighting on the seeds, but they have to go through this lighting system. They had they were going through the germination phase. They had just popped those seeds into the soil and waiting for those to grow. And also I show a photo of Dr. Mallory Tate with Mr. Royal Hill, and they were actually doing some testing to the plant. And what we try to do, because I mentioned earlier about plants running hot, we want to make sure that our partners are not losing crop because they are above that 0.3%. So what we've been doing is testing some technologies that would allow us to measure THC content throughout the growth process, so that we don't have to wait until the regulatory agencies come in and obtain samples, and then you find out that you have a hot plant and you end up losing or needing to destroy your plant. So we're working with some technologies that will assist us in monitoring those plants as we move forward throughout the process. We also have a partnership with Davis Farms in Waterproof, Louisiana. And with this one, he is considered our outdoor grower, Mr. Jamie Davis. He actually owns or operates over 300 acres of land, and he's been growing for quite some time, in the soybean, corn space, but he wanted to navigate into the hemp. So as a part of our mission, which is to link citizens of Louisiana with opportunities of success, Dr. Marlon Ford, who's pictured in the right corner, in the right picture, he's our extension specialist who actually went out with us to assess Mr. Davis's property and just to see how we could assist him. Now, after all this took place, we did enter into a partnership where we went out, we surveyed the land, we identified, a plot area in which we would conduct variety trials. Mr. Davis is to the point now where he's about to begin the growth process. Although we're late in growth season, we have started, working with some seeds in the laboratory that will be utilized at his growth sites. But I just wanted to show an image of the growth site in the area that we have chosen. Now, in North Louisiana, what we have seen, even with the different sites that Mr. Davis operates off of, we've seen differences in soil types. And also, you jump from parish to parish, and in just those parishes, which are just across the street from one another, you're in a different parish, but we've seen different soil types. We've had USDA officials to come out and assist us with testing the soils to make sure that these are the locations in which we want to start our growth. So we've been having some good success when it comes to that. And, like I said, it's about great partnerships as well, getting with people who understand that area and are experts in the area, and utilizing those experts to help you to move forward with the with the grow, because like I said, this is a new environment for us in relation to industrial hemp. Now, people have been growing for years, but when it comes to industrial hemp, there are some variations and some nuances when it comes to the grow of industrial hemp, and we've seen those 2 cycles of it actually, and that's why we've changed like how we grow, or change the different ways in which we are trying to grow. And that's why we're conducting these studies at this time. This next slide shows 2 hydroponic systems. And this is Dr. Marlon Ford's area. He's been working with hydroponics in his sustainable ag classes for quite some time. He does go around the state and work with small farmers or individuals who are looking to work with hydroponic systems, and they also come here to the Ag Center and work with him and learn more about it. But he has 2 different systems here, ebb and flow, and also a deep water culture. And basically, we use these systems. We've been using these systems to actually start off our hemp plants, and they've been working very well. We've been getting some good results as far as the plants growing, with having broad leaves or being able to receive the nutrients, because the root systems are directly there, and the nutrients are actually able to get into those root systems through these hydroponic systems. Now, this is just one of the systems that, well, 2 of the systems that he's using hydroponically, but he does have several systems that he used. There are buckets that he used. He has a tower system that's being used as well. And for those who are registered for the Hemp 101 workshop, you will find or receive more information. He'll be doing live demonstrations for you guys on tomorrow to show you how these systems work, how to set them up, how to disassemble them. So you'll get a vast amount of information from the hemp team on tomorrow on a lot of the stuff that I am touching bases on today. So when I talk about the nuances, pest management, that's one of the areas that we are looking into, because we have seen that, we've seen a lot of pests in the plants that we have grown here. And these are 2 plants that I show, and they have aphids on both of these plants. But, pest management and disease control, which Dr. James Abuya will discuss on tomorrow in depthly. Those have been areas that that we've seen, and also from growers who started off when Louisiana was given approval. These are some of the issues that they've seen. They saw they had a lot of aphids, and also they had root rot. So we want to be able to study strategies and get best management practices for these. So we are studying ways in which to mitigate like pests, and also, the diseases that are associated with the hemp plant. And one thing to take note is that because of our humidity here in Louisiana, we're going to have several of these issues, especially if you're trying to do an outdoor grow. And although we had these plants in a indoor greenhouse, but it was one that was frequently used, and the door was opened all the time. So it made our plants susceptible to these diseases and also these pests. So that's one of the areas that we are studying. Again, those who are a part of the symposium or the workshop on tomorrow will receive additional information about that. Weed control, that was our number 1. So when we first started, this is what we learned, and we learned this early on, weeds. So you'll see this plant here, and we actually had come in and cleaned this plant, cleaned from around this plant. But in the background, you could see the number of weeds that have come in and are about to take over, to be honest with you. So, the plants outdoor have to compete with these weeds. And if you don't have a good, management system in place, your plants will be taken over by weeds. And I'll just be honest in saying I don't see plants here in Louisiana doing well outdoors. I see indoor, I've seen indoor do well, but outdoor, unless you're out there, every single day monitoring and pulling weeds, it's going to be hard to actually control the weeds when it comes to the hemp plants. And again, that information, more information on that will be presented tomorrow at the workshop. So I want to take an opportunity to introduce the team that will be presenting on tomorrow, and also the hemp research team. So we have Dr. LaShonda Hodges. She is an agronomist, and she works well with environmental planning and management. And Dr. James Abuya, he's plant pathology and disease management. And both Dr. LaShonda and Dr. James are co-leads on this project. And they do a great job in making sure that both our indoor, our outdoor, and our greenhouse initiatives are, running smoothly. Dr. Devaya Cambaranda, and he's a plant breeding, genetics, and secondary metabolites professor. So he will be working with us on, our genetics and, just getting the seeds or working to develop and grow seeds that can be used for the climates here in Louisiana, and especially those in the southern region. Dr. Mallory Tate, he's in drug discovery and preclinical trials. So he will be working with us because, as I mentioned before, Southern University Ag Center's mission is to link citizens of Louisiana with opportunities for success. So one of the things that we do at the Southern Institute for Medicinal Plants, although it does house the medical marijuana and the hemp programs, we do work with other plants and assess them for medicinal value and food consumption. We have a muscadine grape research project going on right now. We have a hibiscus project that has been going on for several years and have been doing very well. And product development and, trials in those areas is very important. So Dr. Tate will help us, with that. Dr. Marlon Ford, as I mentioned before, he is our, and I have this wrong on here, but Dr. Marlon Ford is our extension specialist, and he actually helps individuals who want to get in this space. They will call him up, let him know, what it is that he wants to do, and he connects them with the right people to actually do so. But he is extension specialist, and he also works with drones and landscape design. And we have Tyrus Georgetown, who is our graduate student here. He's working on his PhD. He's an urban forestry student, but he has been working under my leadership in medicinal plants for the last 3 years. So he's a great student. He's been helping with the grow aspects of this. So he does a lot of the initial stages that we start off as far as popping seeds, germination, and, just a lot of our field work. He does help with that. And just to show you our leadership, we have Dr. Calvin Walker, who's the interim vice chancellor for research. So he's been helping us a lot with our endeavors as it relates to, the hemp project. And also Dr. Orlando F. McMeans, who is our chancellor dean here at the Ag Center. And, I will say that we've made great strides and have progressed as a institution under his leadership. And I am Dr. Jana Snowden, again, the director of the Southern Institute for Medicinal Plants. I thought I had my email address on this, but my email address is my first name _ last name at suagcenter.com. So if you have any additional questions other than what I'll answer here today, please feel free to contact me. But at this time, I'll take any questions. I thank you all for your your time. And also, this last slide, we do have a SUX Center Hemp stakeholder survey. So if you guys would use your phones and scan this barcode and complete this survey for me and for my team, it would be great for us. So please do so if you have the time. So again, thank you, and I'll answer any questions at this time.
Hello, Dr. Snowden.
Hello.
We have a few questions here, ma'am. We still have a few minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
The first question: are the opportunities to enroll in Southern Institute for Medicinal Plants as a student and receive a degree in medicinal plant chemistry? ?
Okay, so at this point in time, we don't have a degree program in medicinal plants, but we are working to get one in the cannabis space. Right now, we do have, as far as graduate students, you can go through urban forestry and just, get a research area in medicinal plants and obtain your degree that way, where you have a concentration area. But most of our students come in plant and soil science and get a degree in plant and soil science. But at this time, we don't have that. We are working towards that. So that is a process within itself. We're going through board and regions and getting the necessary approvals to do so. But we are working towards that. And I see the information. So once we get that, I will be able to forward some information to you guys to let you know when that is onboarding.
Okay, next question. Will raw cannabis be available in pharmacies next year to coincide with the recent change in the medical cannabis law? ?
What was the first part of it? I'm sorry.
Will raw cannabis be available in pharmacies next year to coincide with the recent change in the medical cannabis law? ?
Yes, our plan is to have the raw cannabis in the pharmacies on January 1st of 2022. So we are working now. We have ramped up our grow for the medical marijuana to ensure that we do have that product on the market on the day that it hits.
Okay. Okay, next question. Are your greenhouse trials conducted in climate control greenhouses? ?
So we started off without climate control, and they did not do well, without the climate control. So we are moving them to climate control greenhouses. So that is ongoing research, but I will say a climate control greenhouse is best when trying to do such an endeavor.
Okay. Does SU Ag Department have a THC testing program that is free to hemp growers? ?
So right now we're developing protocols for some of these technologies. So we will be able to, come out and do the testing for our constituents. So yes, that is what we are working towards at this moment.
Okay, Dr. Snowden, that seems to be all of my questions that I have here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I know, right? Let me make sure. Okay, looks like I have one more. It says, Dr. Snowden, can a medical marijuana patient specify request SU/adhere products for their recommending physician? ?
Yeah, so the recommending physician, you wouldn't actually ask them to give you a SU product. All you need from them is the recommendation, just saying that that you want it, and they will allow it. Once you get that recommendation, you take that to the pharmacy. When you get to the pharmacy, you just let them know that that you want the Southern University product, and they will give it to you. Because currently there are only 2 products on the market, and that's ours and LSU. And you just tell them what you want, and yes, that's what you'll receive.
Okay. Let's see. And I think that's it, Dr. Snowden. I don't have any more questions in your queue.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Thank you all for attending. And again, for those who are attending the workshop on tomorrow, you will receive, more information on some of the topics that I did touch on today, as well as I know Mr. Ansel Rankins, Dr. Ansel Rankins, he gave information as far as like how to go about getting your applications in or what have you, but we will touch on that as well on tomorrow. So, if you do have any questions, please feel free to bring those questions to us tomorrow. And in those sessions, we will, answer those for you to the best of our knowledge.
Okay. Well, Dr. Snowden, I think this is going to conclude your presentation. Everything was wonderful information, and we thank you so much for being a part of our panel.
Thank you much for having me.
Yes,
Thank you all.
Thank you. You have a good day.
You do the same.
Bye-bye.